Hi, I'm John Cabiko and I want to share to you my red pill moment. So let me just go back to 1990. My family came here in the US before the 90s, but me and my sisters that we came around, like after 90s, after 1990. Back then, my parents would only vote Democrats for president. Funny enough, they voted for a Republican mayor, and according to my mother, life was great back then. Um, they were active in politics, so I figured they must know something good, so I followed their footsteps. World events and politics ignorant, I voted party line Democrats in 2008. Boy, that was a big mistake. I thought I knew enough from watching the news and about George W. Bush. There are things I didn't agree with, like when he went to Iraq for weapons of mass destruction and found nothing. Our enemies back then resides in Afghanistan, and that I agree with. But Iraq? No, I don't agree with Saddam Hussein at all. I don't support him. I don't like him. But our direct enemy at the time was Al Qaeda, and we should have concentrated on them. Now, let me get off my tangent. So in 2007, I was already thinking something needs to break the status quo in Washington. The spending is too much, which is directly related to the US debt. Some of the problems was trade deficit. Obama talked about putting tariffs for China, so I thought that would do it. And McCain said nothing like that. Plus, the media, which I didn't know back then was propaganda news, keeps giving Obama the airtime and keeps painting McCain as another George W. Bush. That was his end for me. So I voted Obama in party line. Obama did impose tariff at China, but then China countered with their own tariff, like what's happening now, except Trump is making the Chinese economy close to its collapse. Jobs back then was scarce, but I get it's due to what happened during the end of Bush era. But we should not be spending more either. Instead, we should cut back spending. So Obama spent $1 trillion a year during a recession. Now, common sense would dictate to cut spending, but whatever. Under the water now. Under the bridge. Water under the bridge. I can never say that right. Jobs didn't come back, so Obama gave welfare to make people give up looking for jobs. This way, they don't need to be counted in the unemployment numbers. They were counted though in the labor force participation rate, but I don't know anybody else that looks at that other than me. On top of that, looking around me and the news, I see cops and military were vilified. I see the country is getting divided. That's when I had my red pill moment. I still think somebody needs to take to break the status quo in Washington. I knew Romney was not that guy, but based on what I've seen so far and what is about to happen, Obamacare and the individual mandate, I knew Romney was the better choice. And then Trump came, and I finally saw the soap that cuts the swamp grease. Sure, there are things that he says that are cringeworthy, but his policies, his actions, are the one that spoke to me the loudest. I am John Cabiko, and I walked away May 28, 2007. Thank you.